New details in a plagiarism scandal at CMU that left the school repaying hundreds of thousands of dollars.
And talk about going green. We'll tell you how Michigan recycling stacks up compared to other states. That and more next on News Central 34.
Live from Mount Pleasant Zone, this is News Central 34 at 5.
CMU forced to repay hundreds of thousands of dollars due to a professor's plagiarizing in a request for grant money. Good evening and welcome to News Central 34. I'm Sarah Keelanen.
And I'm Mary Klink. We now know the names of the professors who were involved in a plagiarism scandal that led Central Michigan University to return more than $600,000 in grant money. Current CMU professor Douglas Lapp and former CMU professor Azita Manu-Cherry are said to have plagiarized part of a National Science Foundation concept grant. The grant was aimed at creating curricula that would increase the content knowledge of future secondary education math teachers right here at CMU. The investigation, led by interim provost Gary Shapiro, determined the grant proposal showed 2 instances of plagiarism in the proposal itself and in the work output section of the grant.
Chippewa Indian Tribal Caucus Committee members will be holding a recount of the ballots from the tribe's competitive November 3rd election. 11th place finisher Fred Cantu Jr. submitted the request after losing his seat by just 1 vote. The recount will take place Tuesday night behind closed doors.
With the close of the daily grind, the owners are taking their business expertise elsewhere in Mount Pleasant. News Central 34's Christina Orlando has more.
Now, most of you already know that the shop will be closing its doors today for the very last time. But for those of you who are disappointed about the close, you won't have to be for
a lot of sunshine
longer.
today across mid-Michigan.
The owners of the Daily Grind will be opening up an authentic Italian restaurant right over on Mission Street.
We had the 5 years with the Daily Grind, which was really a learning experience for us. It let us start slow and kind of experiment with the things that we wanted to do and kind of find our niche with it.
The new restaurant is called Tavola Gigi's, but it's not your average Italian restaurant. Having a meal is about more than just fueling your body, and that's what the owners of this restaurant thrive on.
Every single thing that's on that menu has a story, a memory. It's evocative of something for me. Well, then we wanted to start sharing that. You know, now that I knew we had and we did it with the private dinner parties, we did it with some of the catering, but we couldn't do it on the scope and the level that we wanted to do. We just didn't have the space. That's why it has the name that it does. Tavola Gigi's, it means Gigi's table, literally my table, and I am inviting you to my table.
The restaurant will serve fresh sauces, pastas, and breads to their customers in an environment that is relaxing for families and friends. I'm Christina Orlando reporting for News Central 34.
It's been months since Michael Jackson's death, but his fans are keeping his memory alive. In an attempt to create a world record, Thrill CMU will take place tonight on CMU's campus. Organizers hope to have 500 students dance in sync for 5 minutes. To participate, CMU students need only show up at the indoor athletic complex with their student ID. Registration begins at 6:30 and the event starts at 7. News Central 34 will be at the event and will bring you exclusive video on Monday.
The number of car-deer collisions in Isabella County is on the rise. Here are a few tips from Michigan State Police to avoid hitting a deer while driving. Try to safely avoid the accident by slowing down. Keep both hands firmly on the wheel and don't swerve to avoid the deer. If a car-deer collision cannot be avoided, you have 24 hours to report the accident to the police. Hunters will return to the woods Sunday for the annual kickoff of the firearm deer season. Michigan Department of Natural Resources Wildlife Specialist John Niewunder says the 16-day season is expected to attract 700,000 hunters who are after a herd of roughly 2 million deer. Niewunder says it's most important for hunters to make sure they are taking safety precautions like wearing blaze orange, and they should also be aware of the existence of diseases carried by deer such as bovine TB and chronic waste disease.
Farwell schools can now expect some of their initiatives to be paid for by the state. Michigan school officials announced that 13 school districts could get new initiatives paid for if the state wins competitive grants from the federal stimulus program. The first winners were announced yesterday, which included Farwell School District. Some of the initiatives being paid for include teaching Mandarin Chinese and making career-focused high schools.
As the state is forced to shave away funding to its cities, townships, and villages to balance the state budget, one mid-Michigan community will feel the effects, to the tune of $54,000. The city of St. Louis has been asked to cut $54,000 in the next few months. City manager Bob McConkey says this is not an easy task. In order to cut costs, McConkey plans to reduce spending by cutting part-time workers and limiting funding to construction projects.
Sentencing has been delayed for a West Michigan man convicted of second-degree murder along with other charges for the strangling of a pregnant woman. Edwin Munoz, the man convicted of the murder, was scheduled to appear in court yesterday, but a new trial was ordered because of hearsay allowed at the first trial. Munoz will appear in front of the court for a final verdict on November 19th. And the American Cancer Society is in need of volunteers to help staff the Cancer Resource Center at Central Michigan Community Hospital's Norville K. Morey Cancer Center. Cancer Center training will take place Thursday, November 10th from 10 a.m. to noon at Central Michigan Community Hospital. Volunteers must be able to give at least 8 to 10 hours of help per month. For more information on how you can help the American Cancer Society, visit newscentral34.cmich.edu.
Recycling could soon be much easier for Michigan residents. It is predicted that up to 13,000 jobs could be created in the recycling industry if recycling rates go up. Because of this, Michigan is looking to increase the amount of residents who do recycle. Along with the addition of jobs, higher recycling rates could bring the state up to $300 million in income and $22 million in state taxes.
A completely handwritten edition of the NIV Bible is going up for auction on eBay. Bible verses were written by more than 30,000 people across the U.S., including dozens from West Michigan. Money generated from the sale of the Bible will be donated to Biblica, an organization that gives Bibles to people around the world. That's all we have for the show this evening. For News Central 34, I'm Sarah Keelanen.
And I'm Mary Klink. Have a great evening.